unsettling book because it puts you in a thinking mode.
Yeah.
And this might not be very popular, but that's the way I write. So there is no compromise there.
You're watching the Spotlight Network, starring Hollywood's newsman,
And if you were just
Logan
trying to
Crawford.
investigators, they now believe a single member.
He works with TV and film legends. And now, Logan's shining the spotlight on the world's top emerging authors and creators.
International were abducted.
This is Spotlight with Logan Crawford, streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV.
What if exile is not just a place you leave, but a condition you carry within you? I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we are talking to a terrific author. His name is Cela, and he joins us to discuss his powerful book. It is called Herbs of Evil. It is a haunting and philosophical collection of fiction that explores displacement, memory, and quiet alienation of modern life through a voice shaped by Albania, Austria, and America. With the precision of a scientist and the sensitivity of a literary observer, the author transforms ordinary moments into profound meditations on belonging, pain, and the meaning of evil. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today. We thank the team at Prime 7 Media for helping us put him on TV today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. Jimmy, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Great to have you on the show. Your life has spanned 3 different worlds: Albania, Austria, the United States. How has that journey shaped the emotional and philosophical core of Herbs of Evil?
Yeah, the book is seeing 3 realities with 3 lenses, but they are all conveyed through me. So that comes as a whole entity, if you want to call it that way. So there are 3 different worlds, 3 different mentalities, and 3 different ways of seeing the world, which somehow are combined in one and have produced this book.
Yeah.
Albania, if I may say something,
Sure.
Albania used to be a very harsh communist country, and there
Right.
is where my first part of life has been formed, and it was my formative years have been spent over there. And then it is an intermezzo, if you want, in the middle. I lived in Austria for several years, and then I came to study in the United States, and now I am living in the United States. I'm an American, so to say, Albanian American, if you want.
Yeah.
And all these 3 have mixed together. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot that's the immigration pattern for a lot of people. They leave their homeland because it's troubled. They go to the next safest place, whether it's Canada or Austria or whatever it might be, and then finally get to where a lot of people want to be, the United States, and you can't blame them. It's a gorgeous country, of course, with lots of opportunity. Talk to us about how this book took shape. Was there a particular moment or image or experience that sparked the collection?
Yes, it is a small secret, if I call it this way. I was reading in German an author, an Austrian, excellent author, actually. His name is Thomas Bernhard. And he has a book which is called Ereignisse, and it's in German. It means like small events, if you want, or small happenings. And it was like this very small sketches stitched together, and I liked that very much. And I said, why not? I mean, I could do something similar in spirit, you know. But
Yeah.
he had this Austrian, background and Austrian way of telling things, and I had my own way. I had like the Albanian way, the Austrian way, if you want,
Yeah.
the intermezzo, and then the American one. So
Yeah.
that was the history. I mean, how this book came to life.
Yeah. Your work brings together science and literature in a very unusual way. How has your background in statistics and environmental chemistry influenced the way you see story, structure, and human behavior?
That happens because of the unity of the material world, if we can call it this way, meaning that however distant the things can seem from one another, they are joined by the same, link of how the matter is transformed, is taking one shape and then another shape. And this happens in inorganic world, and then in organic world, in biology, and of course in the society, in human society. And the whole idea was to bring whatever I learned into this exact science fields,
Hmm.
to bring that, to transfer it somehow, and to explain in a non-emotional way, if you want, like for scientific rigor,
Yeah.
what happens in the human realm.
Yeah.
And that,
Absolutely.
yeah, that is how these things are interconnected.
Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful. The title is compelling, Herbs of Evil. Talk to us about that.
Yes, herbs of evil in there, in that story, which is giving the title to the book, actually, are nothing else but very, very trivial things like you go and buy in grocery store. Like, for example, oregano, if you want to use that as a spice,
Yeah.
or sages, or different types of black pepper and things like that. So in reality, they are not like the way you see in the shelves in the store, but they are herbs. They are
Mm.
plants. And
Yeah.
to show that the evil actually is not like a central figure, big like giant monster somewhere, but it is granular, and it is dispersed in this everyday life that we lead here. I have created a history where a mailman comes all the time in a suburban area. I mean, where the mailboxes are defined by the HOA. They are all so regular,
Yeah.
and the people kind of uh, you know put there some decorative like flowers and stuff. And one guy there has put this Mediterranean herbs that you can see that
Hmm.
they are grown in southern Italy or in Greece or Albania,
Yeah.
and they have this fragrance. And the mailman probably was from those areas. That is not shown clearly in this story. And he stops there a little bit more than usually in other mailboxes that have nothing but petunias, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
And he get that fragrance.
Yeah.
And then the guy that lives in that household, he thought that this mailman like had the thing for his wife, and he was staying there. And the wife, as it you know very often happens, is there in the wrong time and for the wrong reason. And so this guy one day gets so jealous that he takes his weapon and kills the mailman.
Mm.
So an evil happened for nothing.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm trying to convey, that we need to be not panicked but vigilant, because bad things can happen and they are ingrained in our stuff of life.
Yeah.
And that's what is conveyed in that short story. And therefore I gave the book that title, The Herbs of Evil. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great observation. There is evil out there, and it seems more pervasive than ever before in our modern world. You write about modern existence not only as a geographic displacement, but a deeper kind of alienation. Talk to us about what you think contemporary life is doing to our sense of belonging.
Well, it is kind of paradoxal, because the more we have the gadgets to communicate with one another, and the more the industry is like creating things that were unimaginable, like say 5 years ago, uh, the more people are getting distant from one another. They have more the image of some other person, like in a hologramic,
Yeah,
situation, rather than the real person with flesh and blood, and that person is not there. And interestingly enough, I mean, if you try to break that virtual connection and say, hey, how are you doing, I mean, I would like to have a pint of beer or something, they get disturbed by that. They
yeah,
love more that reality, which is counterfactual. If you want, it's not factual, you cannot,
yeah,
it's intangible, you cannot touch it. And
yeah,
so this is happening. Why is it happening? It is like a realm that there are so many specialists that are trying to explain that from many, many angles. But the alienation is something that is happening in in a pace that I really wouldn't like that to be that way. I mean, it's going too much into that direction. I was born and raised in, of course, in that communist Albania that we,
hmm,
know how it was. But at least this human element was there. People were probably as a way how to protect themselves, but they were this interconnection between
yeah.
people, real people were there. He
Yeah, I
is not.
think you have to
We
go. I think you have to go to small town America to find that. I think it kind of exists in rural areas, in suburban areas and larger cities, doesn't exist. There's no connection. There's actually a tangible disconnect. Let's talk about life of a clod. Even a clod of earth becomes a narrator. Talk to us about that kind of freedom to give surreal perspective and how that frees you as a writer.
Yeah, it is the idea to show how the nature, in this case, a small piece of land which has some roots of grass intertwined in it, like a small
Mhm.
piece of sod. How is that developed, and how it has a life, and how it ends at the end of the day? Um, and I tried to draw a parallel that with a human life, which, in that case, Assad is like created by, a furrow of the plow, and then it
Mhm.
goes there, and it is like at the edge of the arable land, and he sees other sods that are being, worked out, and they are being prepared, what we call for the seed bed, to put the seeds in there and to have some production and stuff. And this sod is at the edge of the arable land,
Mhm.
is not having that beautiful life of the others. It doesn't feel like it is producing something useful and with some utility there, like a crop.
Yeah.
And one day, one of these like thorn seeds that are wild in the nature
Mhm. Yeah.
comes and gets to the clod, and
Yeah.
there the clod feels like that maternity feeling. It's producing a thorn, which
Mhm.
is not a great thing, but it's hers.
Yeah.
It's of the son. It's mine. It's my life. So
Right.
life can take many many forms. It can be a thorn, but it's
Yeah.
yours, and you need to appreciate that. That's the idea.
Well, it's fascinating. Sketch with a Window tells the story of a man's obsessive surveillance of a bedroom curtain that turns a mundane act into something profound and unsettling. Talk to us a little bit about those small obsessions of daily life.
Yeah, especially in the cities, and that probably has come with the industrialization of life, and becoming the so-called the city life. I have seen that people many times go on the street and they talk to themselves, like,
Mhm.
there is no headsets there.
Yeah.
They're talking to themselves, and something is stirring and disturbing their conscience, and why is that? I've always asked myself,
Mhm.
and it could be, at least in a superficial level, that these people are making a big deal out of things that are not to be, taken so seriously. And
Yeah.
so this man that we're talking about, I mean, he sees all the time that curtain that is a little open, and he creates a whole novel out of it. And he
Yeah.
says that, yeah, the jealousy, the Othello moment, if you want, and he sees that, and he says, in this suspecting and dubious way of thinking, that his wife is seeing the neighbor, which he has no idea who this neighbor is just a neighbor. It has to be there in order to balance this suspicious mind.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I mean, the wife says, it's such a trivial thing. I mean, it says, I have the feeling that I'm suffocating, therefore I leave the. So
Mm.
there are these small single and trivial things in life that many times inhibit us from enjoying life. I
Yeah.
mean, life.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
suspicions and imaginations running wild, all of that can interfere with our lives as well. What do you hope readers feel after finishing Herbs of Evil? Do you hope they're a little uncomfortable because of it, that they recognize something in themselves or others because of it? Is there clarity? Talk to us a little bit of about what you hope they experience.
Yes, that's a great question. I have read some of the reviews that the readers have started to leave on the Amazon page or the Goodreads,
Mhm.
and I sense there a common, line of thought. They're saying that, hey, the majority of them at least, that this book is not an easy read. this book is not like a narrative there that, Andrew met Angela at the train and they fall in love, but at the
Right.
end of the day, he discovers that she's his first cousin, for example.
Yeah.
It's not like that. I'm not following the plot and so I'm trying to kind of drill down deeper layers of the conscious, and some of the readers are saying that is a kind of a unsettling book because it puts you in a thinking mode.
Yeah.
And this might not be very popular, but that's the way I write. So there is no compromise there. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that's wonderful. I think you should stir things up. I think you should shake things up. I think you should provoke people. I think you should make them think. And I don't think you want to follow the everyday diagram of how a novel is supposed to be written or prose is supposed to be written. The name of the book we've been talking about today is called Herbs of Evil. It is a deeply thoughtful and darkly beautiful collection of philosophical fiction that examines exile, displacement, memory, and the subtle estrangements of contemporary life. Through stories that blend absurdism, satire, and emotional precision, the author offers readers a fresh and powerful lens on what it means to belong, to remember, and to endure. Jimmy, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate your time, your insight, your talent, and the wonderful work you've done on this collection. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time.